Cher once said, "I've had so many rebirths, I should come with my own midwife." Welcome to Not a Podcast. I could tell you where I've been, but the answer is that there's so much that has happened since the last time I posted anything. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I got no idea. I got no idea where to begin with that. So instead, let's talk. Let's chat. Yeah, so this is just me trying some things. I currently have the worst setup known to mankind, it feels like, because my USB hub, decided it was just gonna not work, because I had to do some things to make OBS not freeze on me, because I use Linux. So I had to go through and do some stuff, and I'm not smart enough to figure out what I messed up. So here we are, here we be, here I am, doing my absolute best to just get through this. We make do with what we have, and so that's why I'm kind of limited on my range of motion here, because this is directly into, because it's a USB C to USB-C, so this is directly attached to my computer, because the hub uses the one usable USB, whatever, the regular one, the one we all know and love. It uses that for, I have one usable thing, but the hub I have now doesn't have a USB-C port. So here we are, doing our best. It'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's fine. Woosah. Anyway, how you doing? Oh, golly gee. So today I really just felt like kind of talking about, we're gonna deal with the trains, okay? It has taken me ages to get all this set up. We're dealing with the trains. If you can hear them, I'm not sorry. I literally live so close to multiple train tracks that my house shakes like 4 times an hour. I'm not sorry. Like, I am so close to so many train tracks that I cannot stream. I would not be able to stream live because my internet goes out all the time. All the time. So here we be. Anyway, I wanted to talk about Sex in the City, and here's why. I recently, and when I say recently, I mean like over the past like month or so, the algorithm, Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore, decided to start showing me some Sex in the City content. I don't know why. Actually, I kind of do. All right, so here's what happened. I saw some stuff. There's this creator, Alora Nadi. She has an entire universe unto herself. I'm gonna be leaving some links. You have to go check her out. She's got a lot of takes. Most of them are hot. I haven't seen all of them. I can't say all of them are hot. But she got some really good takes. And so I like her delivery and stuff. And I am a millennial. I'm almost 40. I was a tween watching Sex in the City on HBO at night, trying to make sure my parents didn't hear it. Okay? Because they had spicy times, and you could see like the occasional like glimpses of things, and you could see some boobies sometimes. So like, adult me now is like, wow, That's not the reason I shouldn't have been watching it. Anyway, I started with that. So Alora Naughty got me started, and then there was, Aspen J, I think. Wait, might have been the second one. And then, this is gonna... There's a third person who I cannot remember right now, and I will, in fact, be putting it very big right over my face right here, because I am so sorry. You are not any less than any of these other creators. I'm sorry. Me acting like anybody who I'm talking about right now is going to see this. But anyway, so they all have these different takes. Oh, and Serena Skyborn. And the only reason I can remember her name is because I've seen her do like a bunch of other stuff. I off and on will watch her content. Anyway, so I'm suddenly just broveries deep in lore. I have not watched the second two movies, and I've not watched a single episode of And Just Like That. That said, with the amazing breakdowns that these women have produced, I feel very comfortable in saying between that and what I remember from the original series, Sex in the City is a fairy tale, just not the one you're thinking of. Sex in the City is a Grimm's fairy tale. Nobody has a happy ending. Because all of these women have the audacity to have expectations for their life. So, I don't have like a bunch of clips and stuff. I'm not going to do all that. I will link to everybody who has all of the videos, like with their synopsis and all of that, so that you can understand like how I got stuff from the ends, like from all the stuff I didn't watch. I'll link stuff, but I just want to get this out. Okay, we'll get better, but right now we're just trying to get it out. So, why do I say that? Nobody has a happy ending. Nobody. Okay. So first, we are going to we're not starting with Carrie. We're not going to start with Carrie. We're going to start with the one you thought had a happy ending. We're going to start with Charlotte. Charlotte has a happy ending. She's married. She has a family. Everything's great. She had more than one marriage because she had expectations for how her life was going to go. And her first marriage was sexless because she wanted it to go a certain way. And then her husband got all up in his head through no fault of his own. She's the one who said, I don't want to have sex. I don't want to have sex. I want to wait until marriage. I want to save it. I want it to be a special thing. Well, you know what? You do that to somebody enough, and then it builds into this thing, and then he couldn't. And then instead of doing that thing that they say in their vows, through sickness and in health, till death do us part, she decides that she's gonna be getting frisky almost immediately after they get married, and he can't perform the way she wants him to behind closed doors, let's say. And she doesn't just go get frisky with somebody. No. She gets frisky and then has the audacity to complain about him on his family's estate. Because in her mind, this is his problem. This is his problem because she had her life planned out and he messed it up. And then there's the divorce. I'm gonna tell you right now, Trey is actually the good guy out of all of this. Like, I think about all the different men. Trey, Smith. That's about it. Like, guys that were just, no, they were not perfect, but they were not bad men. They were not bad guys. They were genuinely kind, empathetic, caring. And the difference between the two is that Samantha realized what she had and Charlotte didn't. So then she gets divorced, and then her second marriage is to the divorce attorney. And then she struggles with infertility. And I'm not one to say, like, if she was a real person, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I'm going to tell you that right now. We wouldn't be having this conversation. Because in the real world, infertility strikes anybody, anytime. And it is sad if you are trying to procreate and unable to. That is sad. And I am sorry if you're going through that. If you want a child, then if you want to create life, you should be able to create life. Charlotte is getting her comeuppance per the fairy tale rules, okay? She left Trey because he couldn't give her that family on her schedule, and then she couldn't have the family on her schedule because of her own body. Choosing to have children later in life is one thing. Having children later in life because you could not have a family when you left somebody else because they couldn't give you that family, that's comeuppance. Okay? That is the, like, boomer writer version of having your eyes pecked out. Yeah, that was a Cinderella reference. It was the first one I thought of. Anyway, or dancing until you collapse from exhaustion because you wanted to sneak out and party. So, that's number one. But Ezra, I hear you saying, Samantha did great. She was so happy. She loved just playing the field. She was only in a few relationships. So in the first season, and for most of the series, Samantha was, like, sexually the ultimate pick-me. Literally was like, it's only cheating if you get caught. Slept with whoever she wanted, whenever she wanted. And she was having a great time with Smith. Smith was amazing to her. The age gap, weird, but he's a full-grown adult by the time they meet. And pretty equal in status because she is so famous as her, like, she's like a PR rep or whatever. And then he's like a famous actor. Like, she does make him famous, but he is famous. And at no point does he feel like so indebted to her that he cannot walk away from the relationship. And he's with her through, like, the really scary stuff. Anyway, that dissolves, and she's with Richard, who cheats on her. Oh, now it matters. Yeah, you had expectations that, like, if you just acted like you didn't care about sex or relationships, then it just wouldn't ever hurt you. You had the audacity to think that you could be just like a man. Ooh, honey. That's what you get. Like, according to the fairy tale rules, you wanted to fuck around and find out? Well, you found out what it feels like on the other side of fucking around. And, you know, then there's the whole, like, I know it was of the time, sort of, but she has an STD scare. She at one point, she's with somebody who wants to help her do some landscaping below the belt. Turns out he just does that with everybody, and it's the same way every time, which she finds out when she's in a sauna and someone else has the exact same thing on their landscape. All right. So now we're gonna move on to Carrie, because I'm saving the best for last, because I know what y'all are thinking right now. All right. Carrie got exactly what she asked for. After his death, Big still cared about his ex-wife, because even in marriage, she was the side chick. Because she expected to have her own little Pretty Woman escapade, I guess. And I know that originally the show was not supposed to end with them being together. Like, the whole point of the show was for her to move on. And then, you know, TV executives got a hold of it. And also realized that, like, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yes, that is a how did she spend $40,000 on shoes reference. But waiting for the other shoe to drop with regards to Big and Carrie was what kept a lot of people coming back. But multiple times throughout the series, Carrie is like admitting that she is addicted to him treating her poorly. There's an entire sequence after she's broken up with Big and gotten with Aiden, and like things are great with her and Aiden, that she is complaining because she's waking up in the middle of the night in panic because nothing's wrong. So, yeah. I know that the actor who played Big got written out for off-screen. We'll be real kind and call them shenanigans, because I don't have time for that particular. I was also a Law and Order fan from a very young age, and so that just made me extra upset when I found that out. Anyway, so Carrie, just regardless of who either of them are with, everything loops back around to Big, and it would be they're toxic together. Every time one of them sees that the other one is moving on or happy with someone, they gotta come in and be like, but are you really happy? Are you sure? Because both of them are like anxious avoidant attachment folks, and they need there to be like drama. They need to have that friction, they cannot just be together, because neither of them are actually as self-confident as they put on. Big needs to know that he's got somebody in the wings at all times. And he knows that that's fucked up, and that's why he gave Natasha $1 million when he died. Decades later. That's why. Because he knew he done did fucked up. And you know why she didn't want it? Because she's a classy lady, Natasha is. Natasha's amazing. I don't like him being with somebody like half his age or whatever, because we already know that like Carrie's in her 30s and he is significantly older than her. So Natasha being 25, like Carrie's in like her early 30s, okay? Like she's like 31 or 32 when the series starts, something like that. But Natasha being 25 when her and Big get married, that destroys Carrie, because she's like, whoa. So you're telling me you don't want to be married, and then all of a sudden you're marrying this like child. But that doesn't stop her from cheating with him. And then she decides that she's gonna try and do this thing with Aiden. And the first time they're together, Aiden, pretty cool. There's a few things that are like, okay, but like you guys don't have to be together then. It's okay if that's just a deal breaker. Like she lies to him on like their first date, and then he completely lets go of his it's a deal breaker for me to be with a smoker. Buddy, you should have known from the get. Like, nicotine's an addiction. But she lies to him from the beginning of their relationship about everything. She lies about her profession at their first meeting. And then when she's confessing that she lied after they've had a date, she has to keep going, no, I'm sorry, I lied. No, I'm sorry, I lied about that too. And it just keeps unraveling. By the time that she pulls out the cigarette and then says, oh, I can just quit. No, she can't. No, she can't. Because nobody who can just casually pull out a cigarette during a conversation like that is going to be able to just throw it away like that. Mm-mm. And then he's like, well, I guess I can be with a smoker. And then he finds out that she cheated on him. And he becomes what he thinks that she wants. He becomes the same jerk that everyone else is, because all men are the same in this fairy tale. All men suck. And the ones that don't stick around. So knowing that he changed after she cheated on him, then he got married, he had kids. Eventually she gets married to Big after Big leaves her at the altar. Baby girl, are you okay? No, the answer is no. Nobody in a fairy tale is okay. Not in this one. Anyway. So then, after Big gets written off, and they have to kill him, obviously, because they got to make sure there's no will they. It's just got to be completely written out. So he dies. And Aiden has gotten a divorce. Aiden is a controlling prick after the original series. He's not great after the cheating fiasco. I don't know why you would stay with somebody after you hate them. But like he gets intense real quick during the original run, but you can almost forgive most of it by realizing that like it's the 90s and therapy itself is not something most people do, let alone country boys who are supposed to be self-sufficient, which is what Aiden is. Like that's his identity. He's just this good old boy. So whatever. But he's like cranked up to 1,000 when we get into And Just Like That. He knows that his child is neurodivergent and refuses to allow him to have medication. Then, when this refusal leads to that same neurodivergent child being so distraught in life and so desperate to be around his father, who has seemingly, in his eyes, abandoned him to go be with this random woman who's not his wife, that child drinks and drives. He doesn't think, well, he wanted to come be with me, but maybe he was just running from his mother. Maybe he wasn't actually coming to me, I was the excuse, which is the first thing you should think when you're in a co-parenting relationship. You should think, okay, why did the child leave? Did the child leave because, oh my gosh, they needed to be near me so badly? Or are they a child running away from conflict? And you're the other parent, so of course their first thought is you. Because that's a very important distinction. And knowing that the child is neurodivergent, knowing that Aiden has had him just doing these like menial tasks instead of having him be medicated and be in therapy and all of this stuff now in the 2020s, where therapy is not just a buzzword. Like, it's very accepted and normalized to be in therapy now. Nah, Aiden doesn't do that. Aiden says, it's about me. Obviously. He had to be near me. And so now I have to go back because my prodigy needs me. Baby, no. No. And all of that. And then he tells Carrie, we have to put our relationship on hold for a while. And he's kind of cagey. And she says, well, how long is a while? Just until he turns 18. That's 6 years. 5 years. His birthday's next week. You want her to hang around and wait for you for 5 years? Okay, but no. And then after that, he sends his kid to one of them wilderness camps anyways. He sends his diagnosed, unmedicated, neurodivergent child to go do more menial labor in a place where they physically punish you for being neurodivergent, essentially. Like, we all know those troubled teen camps are awful. We know that now. But the characterization of Aiden up to this point makes me go, yeah, that tracks. While he is doing all this, the things between his legs are just a swinging. He is throwing himself around. And then he's also like trying to he wants to have his cake and eat it too. And by that, I mean that he expects that Carrie will do this for him. She will wait. When he calls her crying about how his child ran away and suddenly wants to do the naughties over the phone, and she's and Carrie's like, what where is this coming from? Again, yeah, the characterization so far, that tracks, because all men in this universe are the same eventually. And then I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure he also sleeps with his ex-wife while he's like trying to be with Carrie and make her wait for him. So Carrie does not have a happy ending. And now we're going to talk about the Steve in the room. As a youth, I thought Steve was awesome. I did. He was funny. He seemed kind. See, so when Steve and Miranda meet, Miranda has been stood up by her friends. Her friend Carrie. Pretty sure this is how it goes. Anyway, so she's at the bar where Steve works as a bartender. And she wants a drink, and he's like, please. As a person who has bartended before, don't do that. Don't do that to a stranger. Don't do that as a pickup line. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's weird. But he's like, please. And then he's like, Steve, my name's Steve. And then he's like, what's your name? Like, he is just like, he latches on real quick. And Miranda, bless her, she is forever and always hesitant every step of the way with Steve. But because this is a fairy tale that is not the good kind, she doesn't get to have a happy ending. We think she's gonna have a happy ending because she gets sick of his shit, kicks him away, wants nothing to do with him. Even after she gets pregnant by him, she's like, nah, I'm gonna be a single mom. So let's talk about that part first before we get into the, like, how did she end up with him anyway. So she has a nice time with him, but like she doesn't want it to be more than what it was. It was a one night stand. She was feeling some kind of way that night, and she tells him from the jump, this was a one night stand. And then, because he's the nice guy, he wears her down. It wasn't just sex. It wasn't just one time. There was a connection, and then he, like... And then there's the... So then they're together. Like, she wears him down, and Miranda already feels some kind of way because of her friend group. She is the only one that has the very traditionally male career. She's the one with the short hair. She's the one with the drive She is not worried about dating just to date until the other friends get in her head about it. She always is like from the beginning, she's like, can we talk about not men? Just for a little bit. Could we just if it were the fact that she ended up in a relationship that was queer and just like that, I wish had happened in the original series. I wish that when the lesbians came through, that she had been like, oh damn, I'll rock with this, I'm gonna fuck with this, because she really is like, okay, the sex is the nice part, but the rest of men is stupid from the jump. And she is working towards making partner, and then she wants to have a family. She wants to be stable. She wants to be in a good place financially. And while she would prefer to be with somebody, doing life with somebody, she doesn't want that to get in the way of her being stable. Like, she wants to have someone. And if it weren't for the other girls, like her friends, constantly being on about it, I don't think that Miranda would date, like, at all. Honestly. I think she'd be fine with having sex when she needed it and then, like, just working. But that's Samantha's job. Samantha's job is to be promiscuous and a misogynistic pick-me version of a promiscuous woman. So Miranda can't be that. We can't have too many of the same archetype going on. So she gets with Steve. She lets him pay for dates to carts and pizza joints because he can't afford anything because he's a bartender in New York. Then she sees his apartment and she's like, oh. Then there's this scene where she wants to take him to she wants to take him to something, like, it's a very important dinner, and his ego will not let her pay for a suit for him for this very important dinner that she has to go to and has told people she will be bringing someone to. So he scrounges together the money for this very important and very expensive suit that Miranda offers multiple times to pay for, and I'm pretty sure she even is like, hey, you could pay me back, but, like, in this moment, please just let me pay for this. He has a minor meltdown at the register, trying to pay with 3 different types of payment because he doesn't have it all in one place. And hey, we've all been there. And if you haven't, good for you. Love that journey for you. The rest of us have all, like, we know what it's like to, like, need to get this very expensive thing and be struggling to figure out how to get it. But she's right there being like, just let me pay for this thing right here in this moment and then we'll figure it out. And he's like, just let me buy the damn suit. Hours later, this man returns the suit and shows up at her door dressed in his street clothes as she's walking, like, she is ready to go. And he knocks on the door and says, I can't do it. I can't go. I can't. Because we're not meant to be together because we're just so different. That's the first time they break up. And you know what? Miranda she would have gotten over him. She would have. Except then he's buddies with Aiden. This is the point where Aiden has already turned into his little asshole self. So you can see where this is going, right? So then they get together again. Like they end up getting back together. And he wants to have a baby. And she's like, no, sir. Absolutely not. I have plans. Remember what I told you about having the audacity to have expectations for your life in this fairy tale? Here's where it comes in. Miranda does not want anything that Steve is selling. She ain't buying. She is not, every step of the way, she is hesitant. She is dragging her feet. She's like, I may as well, because like, who else is going to put up with the fact that I'm a lawyer? Not even Steve wants her to be like this. Not even Steve, who ends up relying on her income for like most of his life. So Steve moves in. He wants to have a baby almost immediately. She's like, no? What? We've been together for like 13 seconds. Neither of us is stable. You can't even buy a suit. What? I'm pulling 14, 18-hour days here, trying to make partner. Remember that time when I told you I just want to be stable first? He's like, okay, but let's get a puppy. And she's like, no. You know what Steve does? Steve goes and gets a puppy. And do you know who takes care of it? Miranda. Steve's a bum. Yeah. Yeah, Steve is the nice guy. TM. And as a result of him being like not as obviously a dick as men like Big or Aiden after a while, Richard, he's not as bad as all them. He's not even as bad as Burger. So we think he's awesome. He's not. He's not. He barely works. He's home all the time. She no longer has a space. And then they break up again. And before he's even moved out, he's giving people her phone number, her home phone number, because this is back in the days when basically nobody had a cell phone. He is handing out her landline number to girls for dates. He ain't even moved out yet. And I want to thank Laura Naughty for like pointing that shit out and being like bum central, because that's what it was. That's what it was. Always looking for somebody to take care of him. And then here's where it gets a little sad. Yes, Steve gets testicular cancer. They operate. He has one of his ovaries removed. And then he feels like half a man. And so Miranda offers pity canoodling. Because she has a lazy ovary. So she's like, okay, we got a lazy ovary and we got one ovary, like, and it's pity canoodling. And she gets pregnant. They are not together. She gets pregnant. She is very seriously considering not being pregnant. She is very seriously considering having an abortion. She doesn't want Steve to know. She tells Carrie. Carrie is currently dating Aiden during all of this. You'll remember that Aiden and Steve, besties. Carrie tells Aiden, well, shouldn't Steve have a right to know? Like, it's his baby too. Have you ever had one? Carrie lies again. Nope. And then goes to Miranda, is like, well, shouldn't Steve have the right to know? Because she's her own type of pick-me. And she will do anything to keep the man in her life. Except not cheat on him, obviously. So Miranda tells Steve, and then decides to keep it. And then she's being the single mom. Like, she's still, like, not trying to be with Steve. Then they end up together. They eventually end up getting married. And just like that, Steve cheats on her. Why, you ask? Well, because Miranda, who has been working full-time and being Steve's mother's caretaker in her elderly age, is a little burnt out and not up for friskies. So Steve finds someone else for friskies. That's right. This is Miranda's fault. It's Miranda's fault. But in this case, I'm not saying that it's Miranda's fault the way Steve is saying it's Miranda's fault. I'm saying it's Miranda's fault because she dared to have expectations for her life at any point. And the universe had to put her in her place. Because this is a Grimm's fairy tale. From boomers to Gen X women who dare to want something. So, there we are. Nobody ends up truly happy at the end. And we're not gonna talk about Samantha having cancer and everything because I'm definitely in camp. That was Sarah Jessica Parker being a little about stuff. Considering that one of the scrapped storylines involved Brady, Miranda's son, who is underage for this storyline, sending naughty pictures to Samantha. Glad that got scrapped. You know, with the whole, why are we promoting anybody, period, doing that kind of stuff? It's not that kind of show. Okay, like, that's not a joke. That's not a punchline. So if you're a writer, I'm going to let you know right now. An underage person sending those kind of photos is not a punchline. Especially if they are sending it to an adult. Full stop. Just, what? Anyway, so Sex and the City is in fact just a Grimm's fairy tale for single women who have the audacity to want anything. Because the universe refuses to give them what they want. It gives them the opposite of what they asked for. Samantha was happy just getting it on. And then she met Richard and all that came back to bite her. And Charlotte so desperately wanted to have the fairy tale life. And when it didn't happen on her timetable, she imploded the whole thing and then ended up having to wait even longer to have the family that she wanted. Carrie Carrie got big, but did she really? And Carrie got Aiden, but did she really? And Miranda just wanted to have her career and be a mother. Just not as quickly as everything happened. She was okay being alone and doing her and having a plan. She wanted to eventually have children. Yes. She was not ready when it happened. She was guilt-tripped into having Brady. And she was guilt-tripped into being with Steve over and over again. And because of her insistence that being a working woman shouldn't preclude her from having a relationship, everyone told her to settle, and so she did. And she got Steve, who cheated on her because she was too busy taking care of his family. Oh, and still being the primary breadwinner. There you have it. A Grimm's fairy tale. Anyway, I'm not actually going to edit much of this. I am going to find that creator that I talked about at the beginning and make sure that that gets put on there. That's probably going to be about it. Probably going to be about it for editing on this video, because we're just trying to get stuff done. And then hopefully next week, we'll be able to do all of this all over again, except next week it'll be about something else. I had a list somewhere. I don't remember where. With some stuff I've been thinking about. So it'll be something. I guess you'll have to come back and watch to find out what I waffle on about for entirely too long. Yeah, so I'm done now. We're gonna wrap this up. I don't remember how I used to end things, but now I'm gonna tell you that you should probably go drink water. You might consider taking your meds. If you haven't eaten, now's a good time to go make some food. Check in with your bladder. Tell someone you love them. And stay in good trouble.